is what we call
hater shit.
There is no better term.
You know me. If you know me, you know me. If you know, you know. You know, so wherever I am, I could just be crying. Like, I cannot handle running. Like, running is like terrible. It's like, let's run, because anytime we stop, the problem will still be there. And so running will do, woohoo, thank you for this rose. Kelsey, my eyes are like blurred. I don't know, you guys, it's so fucking weird. They're back at it again with the crazy making activities, and they're back at it again with like, and they're like using it, weaponizing it, like my secrets, you know? What the hell? This was my significant other. No one in the world knew the things that I told this person. And not only that, but it's like there was a lot going on in those phone calls where I was literally like begging for help. I'm like, you guys gotta help me. Like, I know the law is monitoring this line. Please help me, blah, blah, blah. Straight up would say it like that. Like, literally, I know the law is monitoring my line. Please help me. And I would get nowhere. And I would go directly and file direct police reports. Direct. Right there in the station. Like, boop, here I am. Heather Gillespie, here's my ID. And still I would not receive any assistance. And now we're here, like, and I'm thinking about all the shit that they stole from me. And I'm like, okay, is it influencer groups? Like, okay, because here's something that you guys don't know. And if you know me, then a lot of this conversation is good in context. Like, you understand. If you don't know, you don't know. If you know, you know, right? Some of these influencer groups, like, have, like, sugar daddies that fund their
girl, that was
content.
You better shut up.
Or maybe, I don't even know if sugar daddy's the right word. Like, sponsors. They have sponsors. And I have my sponsors. And I've always had my own sponsors. But then there's like people who, rather than going out and getting their own sponsors, they're like low-key stalking me so that they can reap the benefits of the sponsorship opportunities that I received. Literally. And I feel like I've done so much to give back. I have straight up sacrificed for so many different things. Like, I've taught marketing for free online. I've taught drop shipping for free online. I've taught content and social media management for free online. I've put people on game to people like Gary V, who do like all of those lessons, and like shared YouTube content of like very, very, very easy ways to like start a drop shipping store, and like who to use third party, and how to do direct to consumer sales, and like just, I've been super duper supportive, you know? And I never once felt like, oh, if I know how to do this, I shouldn't tell anyone because then they'll know how to do it. I've never felt like that in my life. I'm always like, damn, this is a good idea. I should share it with everyone. You know, like, everyone should do this idea. Like, this is fantastic. Like, that's always how I am. That's how I've always been. My whole entire life, that's how I've been. Forever and always. The only shysty things, like the only really shyster things I've ever done in my life have literally been like when I was like in a very fucked up situation of trauma. Like, either I was being physically abused, sexually abused, or financially manipulated. And like, it was a matter of like life and death, like literally. That's the only time I've done shyster things. Actually, there was one shyster thing I did that was not a matter of like life and death, but it was pretty serious. I needed to like furnish my house, and one of my girlfriends borrowed me money, and I told her that it was for one thing, but it was really for something else. And when she called me for the money back, I just stopped answering. I was like 18, I'm 37 now. So I was young and dumb and not selfish, but just egocentric, I guess, at that time. Worried more about my children and my comfort than paying her back, you know? And I do regret it, you know, and I've done my best to apologize to everyone who I've ever, like, you know, has been involved in helping me in any way. I apologize to all of them, because no one should feel like my problems are their problems. But at the same time, it's like my problems are your problems and your problems are my problem if we coexist. So there's like a certain amount of responsibility and accountability that everyone has to take in order to move to the next steps. And I think Gary Vee hit it right on the head when he was like, oh, AI is going to take over for influencer market. Like, who wants to work with an influencer who could just go out and get effed up, drunk, high, whatever, and make a humiliation of themselves, especially if they're working brand deals. Like, no one wants that. You know, they were ruining people's lives over that. They were putting these influencers in invisible fences and like literally manipulating their circumstances so that they could not live, so that they were like the asset, you know? It was wild. But back to 2020, I started dabbling in, so I was always doing like content sales. I was always doing content sales, and I was doing like adult platforms. Nothing with another like co-star, just all solo content. And I didn't want to do it. Like, I hated doing it. I liked creating content. I liked getting dolled up and writing scripts and like staging the space and all of that. I loved that. But I hated like the content, the actual context of the content. I hated it. I don't like being objectified. I've always been the woman that's like, why would you do that to yourself? What is wrong with you? Like, I've judged women who have been in like the dancing, stripping, etc. and so forth. And then there I was, you know, finding myself like working in those environments and just feeling like real shit about myself, you know? And so I tried to like write it off as like, well, that must be it. You know, it must be that I was doing that. But how many girls are there realistically who have worked in that capacity who are living good, you know, and who are not getting all stalked around? Listen to this bogus ass shit, you guys. Listen to this. This is a real true story. I swear to God on everything I love. I went for a biopsy. They thought I had cancer. Okay, a biopsy. My significant other at that time, the one I waited for and was on the reality show with, he was supposed to drive me from the hospital after having the biopsy. He no-showed. He didn't show up. I literally like passed out on the ground. The doctor left the room, just left me there. I was just like pantsless in like a gown. I woke up like just sort of discombobulated. I felt so sick and nauseous to my stomach. I felt like death. And my car was in the parking lot and it was locked. And I have the only key. It's a Cadillac CTS. I have the only key. And I come out of the hospital. Well, first I call from the lobby. I'm like, oh my God, I hate you. Why didn't you come? I'm so sick. I'm bleeding. I'm throwing up. Like, I feel so sick. And he's like, just take a deep breath, you know, be calm. I'm like, okay. And I finally make it to my car. And while I'm in the biopsy appointment, someone broke into my car and stole my entire makeup bag. And I'm not talking about e.l.f. and NYX. I'm talking about expensive makeup, all MAC, all Smashbox, all Too Faced, all, what else did I have? Morphe, Too Faced, MAC. I'm trying to think what I was using at that time. All makeup from Ulta. My cheapest palette was like a $38 Morphe palette. I'm talking about my whole makeup case, you guys. They stole from my vehicle while I was having a biopsy. Do you understand me? And that was in 2020. Or 2019. The end of 2019. October 2019. 2 weeks later, my uncle dies. My uncle, my father's brother, dies. 2 weeks after that, my aunt has a heart attack. 2 weeks prior to my makeup getting stolen, they flooded my apartment and put an $800 boot on my car that I had to pay to get off. Paid to get it off, whatever. It was supposed to go against the money I owed for tickets. They gave me a huge, difficult time saying that I never paid $800 for a boot to get off my car. I'm like, yeah, I did. With witnesses and a receipt. This is Chicago, okay? So I have no idea if it's Chicago doing this, if someone is literally like, you know, because you can't, how do you like blame a city? Like, it's the city of Chicago, it's out to get me. Like, you can't do that. It has to be someone who either is incentivizing employees from the city of Chicago, someone who I'm getting in their way, someone who wants me, you know, out of the picture, someone who, you know, it doesn't make sense who or why or what. And you're just trying to make sense of it. You're like, what the fuck? They eventually like worked out that whole ticket thing and found out that I was telling the truth. I was on like 4 different payment plans. Everyone was claiming to be the city of Chicago. It was like some sort of phishing scheme or like some sort of, I don't know what kind of scheme. They basically would put fake tickets on my windshield with a website on it. And I would go to the website con la cara de pendeja, you know? Oh, let me pay my tickets, blah, blah, blah. And like pay these tickets. And it was just going to like some third party, like just tickets that did not even exist. Plus, then I had actual like red light camera tickets, but no moving violations, thank God. And the apartment flooding, the stabbing, the stealing all my makeup while I was in a biopsy, my uncle passing away, then my kids having to go stay with their father because my significant other was beating the out of me. I mean, beating me up, you guys. Like, this man lifted me off the ground by my throat and then dropped me on the floor and started kicking me. And he was on parole. And I called the police and I asked them for help in 2020. And his parole office said, there's nothing we can do. That's a direct quote. There's nothing we can do. You're a parole officer, bro. What the fuck do you mean there's nothing you can do? And he said, you need to go and file an EOP, which is like code for emergency order of protection. So I go out to him, I'm like, okay. You know, I get my courage up. I'm like, I'm gonna do it. You know, I was like one of those women that was like, and I still am, that was like, you might be beating the hell out of me, but please don't leave because I'm terrified about how bad it's gonna get once you're gone, you know? And I had gotten past that. I was like, get away from me. So that's how you know I was done, because that's not my normal self. And then, like, the roles reversed, and he was, like, on his knees, like, please, I love you. And I'm like, okay, you almost killed me yesterday, bro. You don't love me. And the PO tells me, go to your car, get in the car, go straight to 555 West Harrison and file an EOP. And I'm like, okay, you're right. I got to do this. For me, for my kids, I got to do this. You know, I got to be strong. And I go out to my car. Lo and behold, this mother had disconnected my starter. I don't know how to reconnect a starter. Yay, thank you, Crystal. Thank you so much. I don't know how to reconnect a starter. I don't know how to, do any of that. I don't know how to change an oil or whatever. So he disconnects the starter in my car and I can't get there. Thank you so much, Crystal. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you. So I jump on the train. I'm like, whatever, I'm gonna get there, I'm gonna file it, it's gonna be all good. I get there and file it, and they tell me you can't file because he just, like, minutes before you requested one on you. Requested one on me? Okay. I get home and they throw me out of my house. So understand, like, put this in a perspective. They flood my apartment twice, jump and stab me 11 times with screwdrivers, 3 women. Boot my car for $800 purge, put about $1,000 worth of tickets on my vehicle that I paid off, all of them, and then some, that were fake tickets, come to find out. Steal all my makeup while I'm in biopsy for cancer, to check if I have cancer. It was all good, by the way. My uncle passes away. This man almost kills me, literally. He flips the script and gets an EOP on me when all of this is like in like a 6-month period. When in actuality, like, he definitely was beating the hell out of me, like, real bad. And he was also dosing me on a number of things. Ketamine. He was giving me, well, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to get into the details of that. There was a lot of shit going on. Real bad. And I was not the perpetrator. Okay, I can tell you that much. So all of this is going on, and they stole my makeup. They started stealing my clothes. I come home after the EOP was thrown away. His was found to be, what do they say in court when it's a lie? They found his to be, they dismissed it. And I was able to go back home. And I get back home, and this man is in my bed with a bitch. Yep. I swear I could not make this up. I'm like, oh, okay. Fabulous. Like, this is great. Love this. Love this for me. And the whole time, you guys, like, all this stuff is happening, and it's like, whoop, like, it's like, oh, I got stabbed today, but my kids are home tomorrow, so are you guys hungry? Have you guys done your homework? Everyone at the table, it's time for homework. Showers in 10 minutes. Like, this is the way my life looks. Like, one day I'm like, who the fuck just stabbed me? What the fuck? Where the fuck are the police? This is some bullshit. 12 hours later, I'm, okay, guys, well, where are your backpacks? Get backpacks by the door, please. Backpacks by the door. Lunches are made. Everyone's ready. Your shoes are, your outfit's laid out. Your outfit's laid out, right? Fantastic. Okay, great. 12 hours later, there's a fucking boot in my car. Why the fuck did you guys put a boot on my car? I just got done paying all these tickets. This is ridiculous. Ma'am, you need to report to blah, blah, blah. I have got stab wounds all over my body, ma'am. I cannot walk to Pulaski and Foster to pay an $800 purge to get this boot off. Well, ma'am, blah, 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 blah. I walked the fuck all the way there. I think someone Ubered me halfway. Paid the $800. Kids come home that night, back to the same old mom life. You guys hungry? What do you want for dinner? You can play after you're done. No fighting over the remote. Play after you're done. No fighting over the remote.